Hello once again from Cuba. We're going now to present to you the other two destinations that we have in our in-flight brochure for this year. Remember, just as a little refresher from what we've seen already, that we spoke about three important destinations, the top three destinations of Cuba in our previous presentation. We took you on a journey to Varadero, then we went up to Cayo Santa Maria, we went as far as Cayo Coco, which is right here. But I also mentioned on my first presentation that there is more to the east of Cuba. There is more to see, there is more to do, and that's why I want to take you a bit further east on the island, and I want to take you some 500 miles east of the city of Havana up to the city of Holguin. This is the fourth major destination that we have here on the island, and this is another place that is worth mentioning when it comes to places of interest, and also in terms of the importance for the Sunwood operation, the Sunwood Experience operation in Cuba. Holguin will be right there as one of our important places, right? Before we go to the hotels, I think I mentioned this before, but just to remind you all, this is Holguin, and the airport of Holguin is located just like 5 miles south of the city. So it's going to be around here where we have the airport of Holguin, and some 45 miles northeast of the airport you will get to see all of the hotels that we operate in this destination, right? We have three main beach areas in Holguin. We have Playa Pesquero, we have Playa Esmeralda, and we have Playa Guardalavaca. All of them with excellent hotels, excellent resorts. The beaches are not as big as the ones that you may find in the Cayos or in Varadero, but they are spectacular beaches, smaller beaches, little secluded beaches in some of these hotels. Very interesting. And the good thing is that in Holguin you have a full mixture of nature. The people in the east of Cuba are very friendly people, are very nice people, and it's always good for the customers to be that close to the small communities in all of these hotels that we hold there, right? Obviously, Holguin, as the capital city of the province, is always going to be a point of reference, because some of our excursions will be going to Holguin, and will include Holguin as one of the main landmarks of this part of the island, right? And then finally, we're going to cover southeast of Holguin, some 115 miles southeast of the hotel, so all the way to Holguin, and then all the way through the island southeast to get to Santiago de Cuba, which is an important destination for us in the in-flight program. Santiago de Cuba is a very peculiar destination for the Sunwood Experience operation. It's a winter-only destination with a fairly high number of repeat guests, and it turns very hard to motivate those customers for our in-destination team to book the excursions. So including the excursions, including these excellent packages in the flight program, is going to help us boost the sales in Santiago de Cuba, and it's going to help us provide a much better service to the customers as we approach them with these interesting, very attractive excursions that we have in Santiago de Cuba. Before I go into specifics for Holguin and Santiago, and while we're still in the map of Cuba, I want to mention that the airport of Santiago is right here. It's very, very close to the city. It's just like 3 miles south of the city of Santiago. You're going to have the airport here. It's actually a very nice view as you land at Santiago de Cuba airport, because you're going to fly right over the Bay of Santiago. You're going to fly right over the fortress called El Morro, which is like the sister fortress to El Morro in the city of Havana. And we're going to have two main areas for hotels. We're going to go west of Santiago, some 70 kilometers. That's about 45 miles. And we're going to have the Brisa Sierra Mar, which is our main hotel in the area. You can see the mountains in here. The hotel is located right there, and you have the Caribbean Sea in here. So beautiful scenery. You have the beach, you have the hotel, and you have the mountains right there. So that's a very attractive scenery, what we find there for the customers. And then from the airport, but this time going east, some 40 miles east of the city of Santiago. There is the area of the Baconao Park, and we have two hotels there, the Carisolos Corales and the Costa Morena. So these will be the main destination, the main hotels that we operate into Santiago de Cuba, right? So with no further ado, let's go a bit deeper into details regarding the excursion packages that we have in Holguin, which is the first of the two destinations that I will cover. Holguin is a special place. For me, it's a special place. I was lucky enough to work in Holguin for many years. I would summarize Holguin as a full package that will help the customers being in touch with a little bit of everything. You could go into a hotel in Holguin, and apart from the excellent quality of the service and apart from the people that make the difference, the friendly staff that you will find anywhere you go in Holguin, you will find as well the little villages just at a walking distance from the hotels. That's something that you cannot do in many of the other destinations. You walk out of the Playa Pesquero, you walk out of the Memories Holguin, or you walk out of the Brisas Guardalavaca, and you will get to see the communities. You will get to see the people right next to the little secluded crystal clear waters of the Atlantic Ocean, and that brings a special touch to Holguin as a destination, right? Speaking about the excursions that we have there, the Sun Cruise Catamaran, I would say, is the most popular excursion that we have in Holguin. It's an excursion that will combine the snorkeling on during the day. It will be on a catamaran, a luxurious catamaran that will take you out to sea. There are some beautiful, excellent coral reefs in the area. And the good thing about it is that customers do not need to travel much to get to the marina. You're not talking about any more than, you're just talking about 10 miles to get to the marina. And basically the sailing on the catamaran is all along the northern coast. So when you look at the distance that there will be from their hotels, is not a lot, and the snorkeling is spectacular in the area of Playa Esmeralda, which is where they go for the snorkeling session, right? The dolphinarium in Holguin is fantastic. It's the first major dolphinarium that was built in Cuba many years ago, and they keep it very, very well. The quality of the activities that they do with the dolphin interaction there is excellent, and it's a full day, but it's not too long. Remember, when I spoke about distances not being too far from the hotels, the customers could be back in the hotels by 4:30, the latest. So that makes it a full, very good package. Excellent for families, excellent for groups, and excellent value for money as well to do the catamaran in Holguin. Now, the Campiña Taína, I spoke about little villages, I spoke about nature, I spoke about the fact that everything is close as you go to Holguin, and the Campiña Taína is basically a day out of the hotels, still in the vicinity of Guardalavaca in the area of Holguin for our customers. There is a very interesting story in Holguin that is related to the Aboriginal population that we had in Cuba when the Spaniards arrived and conquered the country. Holguin is the place where all the major discoveries from those times were made a few years ago. And there is this Taíno village, as we call it. Taíno is the name of the indigenous population that inhabited this area of the country. The place is called, as you can see here, Chorro de Maíta, and it's extremely interesting for the customers because we have people that will do a show there, showing the traditions and showing the dances of this Aboriginal population. The customers find it extremely useful to get to understand a little more about the Cuban ancestors and about the history of the island. And all of this is combined with the little villages. There is a little village that is visited in this place that is called Boca de Sama, and the views that you get in that place, you can never begin to imagine what you will find as you go right to the top of the hill, the entrance of the bay. It's pictures that you could bring with you as some of the best snapshots of what you have experienced in Holguin. So it's a full day out, but it's not a tiring day or anything. Families will do great on that excursion. So will do couples. It's suitable for any of the customers that are interested in getting to see a bit more about the local vicinity of the hotels in Guadalajara and in Holguin. And the value for money is excellent. The price is very good for what the customers get. Value for money, again, for me would be the top of the list when it comes to the highlights and the selling points, the strong selling points for this excursion, right? We have spoken about this product before, the Cuba Sugar Cigar and Rum being our franchise excursion all along Cuba in the major destinations. Holguin is not an exception. We have our steam train that take our customers to the countryside, combined with the city of Holguin, which, as you may remember, I said it is the main and the capital city of the area where these hotels are located. Distance isn't too long. It's about 30 miles, 35 miles, the longest that the customers have to travel to get to see the places of interest that we include in that excursion. There is a lot to do, a lot to see, and a lot to discover related to Cuban cigars, rum and cigar pairing, which is fantastic. You even us as Cubans, when we got to discover this, the pairing of the rum and cigar, how it's done, and the tradition and the culture that the experts have in this area, it's just simply fantastic what you will get to see there in the Cuba Sugar Cigar and Rum. So once again, it's our top excursion. It's our franchise excursion. We take very good care of it. You can sell it with a lot of with all the knowledge that you have now about this kind of product in all the different destinations of Cuba. Holguin is not going to be an exception, and I'm sure that the feedback we're going to get from the customers will be excellent, because it's one of our top products anywhere you go, and Holguin will be there as well with the Cuba Sugar Cigar and Rum. Now, the Bay Adventure goes to a little island. On my first presentation, I spoke about a little island that is called Cayo Saatia. Cayo Saatia is a unique place in Cuba. It's a place where you have a little bit of everything. You have exotic animals that were brought to this little island at the entrance of the biggest bay of Cuba many years ago. The authorities and the staff that is taking care of that island, they take really good care of it. The place is so natural. The beaches are so spectacular. There's no pollution there. It's like traveling to a pristine island where the customers will spend the whole day enjoying the beauty of that place. We go there on the Bay Adventure as a catamaran trip into the biggest bay of Cuba. The snorkeling, I can tell you, and I've done this excursion many times, snorkeling is great. Snorkeling is, even on days that are a bit windy and all the rest of the coastline of Cuba, as you're still inside the bay, the snorkeling is great, and the waters are calm, and you can do that excursion with a lot of confidence, because weather is usually not a factor for the Bay Adventure. Once on the island, you can get to see a little more. They have different activities that you can do there on the island. They do some horseback riding. You can walk around. You can find your own little beach. Basically, customers go walk all around, and they will find those little virgin beaches anywhere they go on the island. It's a full day out, and actually the drive here to the boat is a bit longer. We're looking at about an hour, 25 minutes, but it's totally worth it. It's worth every minute and every penny that you spend on the excursion, because it's something different. You will not get to see a place like Cayo Saatia anywhere, and once again, the value for money is very good. It's a very good price for a very good package, very comprehensive and differentiated, totally different for our customers, right? For adventurous people, remember we have the Jeep Safari as well in Holguin. We're going to try to take people off the main roads and into a park that is called Bariay. This is the place where Christopher Columbus landed in Cuba. on October the 28th, 1492. So it's a big landmark for all of us in Cuba, and it's a very natural, beautiful spot as well. So it's worth it. The customers can do the speedboats, customers can do the horseback riding. It's a very active day. It's a full day. It's suitable mostly for you could say for adults. Especially, we have to keep in mind that for all the Jeep Safari excursions, all of the customers that drive the Jeeps, they have to bring their driver's license, and they have to be able to drive standard transmission. It's manual. We don't have any automatic transmission for any of these Jeeps in here. That's something to keep in mind, and always something to mention when the customers are booking the Jeep Safari, right? But again, it's a package that will be very active for a full day. As I was saying before, you could think of it being more suitable for adults, but kids have great time. Remember, they will do the speedboats. Probably for elder people, that's when I would say always keep that in mind, because elder people could find it a bit rough on the Jeeps, or could find it a bit too long, and the horse riding as well. But that's again an excellent package that we have here. So these are the main excursions that we have in Holguin, but I still want to talk about Santiago de Cuba. As I said before, I want to stress on the fact that Santiago de Cuba, the fact that it's included on the in-flight brochure, will be a major help for our team on the ground. We have customers in Santiago de Cuba who are not prone to booking excursions. Sometimes it's all about the profile of the customer that we have into this destination, but Santiago de Cuba is only second to Havana in terms of history, in terms of importance. Santiago de Cuba was actually the first capital of the island in 1515, and it was only in 1553 that the capital of Cuba was moved to Havana. So there is history. There is a lot of history again related to the Cuban Revolution in the 1950s, and that's why the Santiago de Cuba special would be my top recommendation for excursions in Santiago de Cuba. We go to places that range from the Moncada Barracks, which is the place where the final stage of the revolution began in 1953. The central area, the central park of Santiago de Cuba, is surrounded by buildings whose architecture is unique, and the customers will have the chance to walk the streets of Santiago to feel this Caribbean rhythm, the Caribbean pace of the people of Santiago de Cuba, something that you could not find in any destination, any of the other destinations in Cuba. Remember what I said at the beginning, Santiago de Cuba is the only Caribbean southern coast destination that we have on the brochure. So this is a distinctive characteristic of this destination, and especially the Santiago de Cuba special, right? We also have a Tropicana show in Santiago de Cuba. It's a very good show as well. Obviously, it's not the same as the Tropicana that we have in Havana, which is something different. Tropicana, in Havana is always the top show that you could find in Cuba, and arguably one of the top shows that you could find in any of these Caribbean destinations. But Santiago de Cuba's got its Tropicana Cabaret. It is pretty good. The dances, the rhythm, with this different flavor, with this different touch of the Caribbean, it makes it a very, very interesting place, and a very good value for money as well on the Santiago de Cuba excursion, right? So these are the two main excursions that we have there. In the case of Santiago, we also have the catamaran tour that is very popular here for customers staying at the Los Corrales, Carisol Los Corrales Hotel, that is located right here. Is a catamaran tour that obviously will include the snorkeling, the open bar, but it sails all along the coast. The scenery that you will see here, with the coastline, with the city at the very back, and also with the mountain range Sierra Maestra, which is the biggest, most important range of Cuba. will make it a fantastic day. Last year we could see a very positive trend in that excursion towards the end of the winter. We could see that the excursion is starting to get more and more popular with our customers. So the fact that it's now included on the in-flight brochure with the possibility for customers to pay in Canadian dollars, to have the very best prices for this package, we're sure that is going to help us increase the number of customers that are inclined to book in that excursion, right? So these were the final 2 destinations that we covered today. With these 2, we will complete the coverage of the main destinations of Cuba and the main packages that we have for the island on our in-flight program. We certainly hope that it's clarifying for you to have the basics about the destinations, the different destinations. We know there will be questions. We know there will be information that will come up as important information for you to be in a better position to sell those packages, to sell those excursions. And as I said on my previous presentation, we will always be open to helping you get to know more, get to know better each of these places, and get to know the specifics and those points that could probably make it or break it. Make sure that the customers are motivated to book those excursions. Just as a final recap on general information, please remember that all of our destinations, all of these that we mentioned in these 2 presentations, will have our destination representatives for somewhat experience in each of them. They will be waiting for the customers to present those slips that you will deliver on the plane, and to make sure that customers have the correct times, the days, and all of the specifics that they will need to know for any of those excursions that they have booked, right? Thank you very much once again for giving us the opportunity to give you more information on Cuba and our packages. And once more, we will be open to helping you with anything you need for a better understanding of this intriguing, fantastic, unique destination, unique island of Cuba. Thank you very much.